Well, hello, everybody. I am very pleased today to be talking with Jordan Theis, who is the Director of Music at of the choirs at St Thomas on the Bourne in Farnham. Hello, Jordan. Nice to see you.
Hello, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to see you again because, of course, we first met when you came and took our rehearsal back in May, where we had an absolute gas, and you're coming back next week, and we're recording this, I should say, on Thursday, the 5th of September, and you're coming to take our rehearsal on Thursday, the 12th. But more immediately, you with your choir are just back from what looks like an absolutely wonderful tour to Paris, and you're performing the music that you did in Paris in St Thomas this Saturday, day after tomorrow, 7th of September. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Paris trip and the repertoire and looking ahead to Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. The Paris trip. Our choirs go on an annual tour every single year. Not always to Paris. This is actually, I think, the first time we've been to Paris, at least in living memory. Last year we went to Belgium, so we stayed in Bruges, and the year before we went to Wales. And I can give you a spoiler that next year we're going to Ripon. That's something to look forward to. So Paris this year, it was an exciting time, obviously, between the Olympics and the Paralympics. So there was a bit of a buzz, and actually it was very quiet, Paris, which was nice, as in lots of the streets were shut. So I think a lot of the choristers who came with us had a very odd view of what the city's like. So we rehearsed on the Wednesday at St Thomas. We basically compiled a lot of the music that we've done throughout the year, so all the new things we've learned. And then I picked 2 or 3 quite specific pieces for tour that we learned throughout. So a lovely piece by Essen Valves called O Salutaris Hostia, and an arrangement of the Revel by Rupert Goff to a Requiem Mass. So that was really lovely. So we sort of had something to work towards, as well as a celebration of what we had. What did we do? We went to Paris on the Thursday. We sang in La Madeleine on Friday, which was amazing. I mean, just the most astonishing place to sing, and acoustically all the way through it sounds the same. I've never been anywhere like that. It was just stunning. And I think everyone's jaw hit the floor when we walked alongside this amazing place.
Is it true? Is it true it doesn't have any windows, the Madeleine?
No windows to distract you. No, but you could see right at the end, you sort of have a really clear view of Concorde. So on the Place de Concorde. So it was sort of amazing. I could point at the top of that monument for everyone to send their vows to, which was great. It was an astonishing place, and we had a huge audience actually by the end of it. So all our concerts were free, but we couldn't shut the cathedrals, so people were coming in and sticking around. And we did a lot of playing with where singers were placed in the cathedral as well. We did the Bibel Ave Maria with a semi-chorus standing from halfway down the aisle. I mean, it was a stunning concert, and it was annoying that it was day one. So we had to sort of live up to that for the rest of it. But we did a mass the following day in a place that we were rehearsing quite near the hostel. And then we sang in Saint-Sulpice on Monday, which was it's a fabulous building, acoustically quite different and a bit challenging. The organ was not in a great place, but it was lovely to sing there. And actually, we got to play around with where we were in front of the high altar, and then we moved around a bit as well. So that was fine. And also, we did mass in the American Cathedral, which you can view online actually, and that was really lovely. And quite a contrast from our Saturday mass as well.
So that's an amazing. I mean, you did a lot of things there. That's really impressive. I mean, how many of you were there? How many singers came on that tour?
Yeah, there are 21 singers under 18. And then I think we had about 20 over 18. So 21 upper voices. No, that's not true. That's a lie. About 17 upper voices, because a few of the under 18s also sing in the back row. So our tenors, altos, and basses. And then yes, we have all the adults who sing with us, and then we have a massive team of chaperones. So we have about 47 people in total in the whole thing, keeping it all going. I'm responsible for it all. So I was very pleased as soon as we touched back.
I bet you were. No pressure,
on Monday night.
No pressure at all. No pressure at all. Well, you'll be able to compare notes with Richard Pierce, our conductor, because we all went off to Normandy at the end of June. But it was a much more compressed tour. I think we left early on a Friday morning, came back on a a Monday evening and did a couple of concerts there. But again, I mean, it's a wonderful experience, isn't it? We had a terrific time and singing in incredible places, whether or not the acoustic is any good, frankly. You know, it's a real treat to go on those trips.
Absolutely. And it's a way of galvanizing everything that you've done through the year and also launching your next season as well. So yeah, it's a really, there's a lovely energy now in our choirs, and I'm sure I'll be picking that up from your singers next week.
Yes, I'm sure you will. And of course, the day after you come to us, you've got the second of two come and sing events that you've organised this summer. I think you had one in July and you've got one on Friday, the 13th of September. And those are just opportunities for youngsters to come and try you out, aren't they? And just sort of see whether they'd like to become choral singers themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're constantly looking for our next generation of choristers. You know, that's one thing about children, is that they grow up and they go to university and we say goodbye to them, or that, you know, or they leave the choir at different points in their life. So we're always looking for new singers in the area. So we have it's actually going to be an open rehearsal on the 13th. So we've got a separate boys and girls choir. So we're inviting girls, slightly older girls, I think we're looking for, because we've got quite a lot of younger girls in the choir. So I think I've asked for 9 to 14-year-olds. But boys, any boys will take. If you've got an unchanged voice, come and join our Upper Voices choir. But we also have a changing voices group for older boys with changed voices. So if we've got budding tenors and basses, they're welcome to come and try that out. So yeah, so it's an exciting opportunity. But if you miss those dates, just get in contact with me. There's plenty more opportunities where that is, and we're always looking out for people to come and sing.
Well, we'll put your contact details on this video so that people can do that. But Jordan, I want to ask you, we've talked a lot about, you know, your recent exploits with the choir, but I'd love to ask you a bit more about yourself. You know, what's your own musical background, and how did you come to sort of choose this brave path of becoming a professional musician?
Yeah, it is an interesting question. I think everyone has a meandering path through, particularly choral singers, I find. I was a first study pianist, so I got a music scholarship to my school as a pianist. I also loved theatre and drama things, so I sort of had those two things going on through my childhood. But yeah, really into piano, particularly. Always sang in choirs at school, but that was, you know, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? Is what I thought at the time. Went off to university, so I got a place at King's College London to read music, where I also had piano lessons at the academy, and very quickly kind of realised that the solo piano life was maybe not quite for me. I'm much more collaborative musician, so I was doing things like directing operas or conducting the chorus at university and singing lots of choirs in London as well. So I finished my undergraduate, looked around and thought, I'm spending all my time doing choir things. Perhaps that's maybe what I'd like to do. And I was really lucky to be singing for Jo Tomlinson, who was conductor of Farnham Youth Choir and used to live locally. And she was really encouraging as a mentor and a conducting teacher, and sort of sat me down and said, I think you'd be really good at this. You should do it, which it's really nice to hear.
I can see why she would have said that. I mean, when you came and worked with us in May, I mean, you know, you were terrific with not just with the warm up, but the warm up, which we put on our Facebook. You very sportingly let me put some sort of action pics of you in the warm up. But I mean, it's obvious that you're a great performer. I mean, you love the performance, and I think to stand in front of a choir and get the best out of a bunch of folk, whether they're youngsters or older, you know, people like me, you have to be a confident performer. And you know, okay, you're not playing a concert piano, but in a way, I think it's probably a harder ask.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because I'm not facing the audience, you're facing the choir, and so you've got to somehow channel that performance towards the choir to encourage them to give it back to. So there's lots of psychological things. I'm sure there's a PhD waiting to be written. But yeah, I mean, definitely the drama and all the theatre things have really helped me engage with that. But it is a full body experience as a singer. You know, it's really important. That's why I think warm-ups are so important, not only for vocal health, but for energizing the sound. I mean, you can't, the amount of times you come in with singers and they're just sort of leaning back on their chair, and like the sound is going to be like that. So you've got to sort of energize in any tactic you can. So yeah, I mean, that's sort of really how I fell into it. So I just started conducting a lot. I lived in London. I eventually got a church job, which helped, but lots of different choral societies and chamber choirs and things. And one thing led to another, and I got this job at St Thomas and the Bourne just after lockdown. And so my partner and I moved down initially to Farnham, and now we live in Selborne near Alton. So we're here to stay. And I do a bit of commuting all over the place. So as you can imagine, I work quite a lot with national youth choirs. So I'm all over the country in the holidays. I work with Bart's Choral Society. So the big, there's about 300, 400 people strong in London on Monday evenings. And various little session things as we go. So I'm busy.
Well, you certainly sound busy, and that's good, very good to hear, actually. So I was going to ask you, what other projects have you got on? But I think you've answered the question already. I mean, you obviously you're in charge of lots of different groups, and things are always happening.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So I mean, things are always happening with St Thomas and the Bourne, particularly this time of year. So I've just put our schedule together. So after this concert, so we've got a concert on Saturday, which is the tour concert. But then after that, we're going to have a remembrance concert in November, where we'll do Four Requiem, and we've got then it's Advent and Christmas, so we have about 1,000 services. So go on our website and find out, because they are I mean, the Christmas services are particularly special. Last year we had a whole load of horns, and so we're going to have, it's going to be even bigger and better this year.
Well, it sounds terrific. And in the meantime, as I said before, we're really looking forward to working with you again next Thursday, rehearsing for our next concert, which is on the 19th of October and is a musical odyssey. And like all the best odysseys, there's a degree of sort of mystery and uncertainty about what we're actually going to be singing and in what order. So hopefully between now and then, you'll get some more gen on that from Richard, and when you come along, we'll both know what we're doing.
Yeah, it's a classic beginning of term thing, isn't it? It's fine. We'll be fun. We'll get through it. It'll be a lovely journey. But I'm interested to know what we're doing.
Well, really look forward to seeing you then. Thanks ever so much for your time today. Very best of luck on Saturday. I hope it goes well. I'm sure it will go brilliantly. And look forward to seeing you next Thursday.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Mike.